I had a really killer edit prepared for you guys today. Put 100 hours into filming, editing. I noticed a glitch in one of the scenes on the YouTube upload. Went to correct it. I deleted the copy off YouTube that was glitching out. Checked the delete forever box, and then I named the export the same as the source file, and that deleted my edit. I have no source files. I can't even re-edit it. So anyways, I'm a little bit devastated. That was literally 100 hours of editing and filming. That really sucks. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I thought I'd introduce my new power washer line. I was born with a power washer in my hands. My father sold power washers when I was before I was even born. But I grew up servicing the power washers that my father sold. He sold these hardcore, durable power washers that were made back in the 70s that are still running today. I grew up keeping those running. That was very good for me in a lot of ways because it helped me learn how to work on a power washer, but also it gave me an appreciation for what would be a better layout in a power washer for the sake of serviceability. Because I wasn't just designing the power washer to fit the parts in there. I was thinking, well, if I have to turn a wrench on this piece later, how do I want this to be mounted? You know, what's gonna keep things out of my way when I need to fix something that's broken? So I started building my own power washers when I was a teenager, just from scratch, doing the weldings, the coating, the controls, the high pressure plumbing, the hydraulic hose work. Problem was, I couldn't scale that up. To hire a crew of people and fabricate everything, keep the cost reasonable, it just didn't really pan out. So I realized eventually that I needed to find a manufacturer that could help me with my ideas. So that's where these guys come in. This line of X Factor power washers is made just over the Canadian border. A great family up there builds power washers, actually a pretty big company. They were willing to private label a brand of power washers for us with our own plumbing layout, our own specs, and it's pretty cool. So that's what the X Factor series is. It's the culmination of my whole life of working on power washers. What parts work the best? What's gonna prevent drama that's unnecessary? They're laid out in a way that's easily serviceable. They're good power washers, and I like them. Let's look at them closer, and I'll show you some of the features that I'm talking about that make these things stand out. The main power washers that I was known for building were wall mounted, and the reason I liked that was because it kept the floor nice and clean. It just made a nice installation, and that was one thing that I was psyched that these guys could help me out with. So this is the pump that I use primarily here. This one's hooked up to that ceiling boom up there, and it's also hooked up to this Reelcraft spring-loaded hose reel here. So what makes this stand out is the plumbing layout primarily. Now this is simplified versus how these would normally be laid out. There's less 90-degree turns, which creates less drag on the pressure coming out of the machine. It's a little more output. But this is my favorite unloader. It's a VRT3. It's not expensive, but it's very durable. And we mount it with a screw coupling here because you want to be able to easily undo this and replace this one piece. This is a part that will wear out. This has been designed to be very quickly repaired. Now these here are pressure sensors, and what those do is they operate a time delay relay in this box here along with a motor contactor. And when you release the squeeze trigger on your power washer, that water still has to go somewhere. It goes through this loop here. And what happens is this water gets hotter as it idles in that mode. So this set of sensors here allows this machine to know that it's in that state and shut itself off after 15 seconds. That's a big deal because if the machine were to be left in that state and the operator didn't realize and maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by, that's when you melt your packing in your pump head because the water gets so hot the seals fail. I've seen some crazy things happen when power washers are not built with this kind of safety. I've seen pumps melt into themselves. I've seen pumps run from Friday till Monday morning at customers, and then they realize that they have a completely spent pump on Monday morning, and it's just a big unnecessary hassle and bill, and it's the downtime. It sucks. So this is a very big deal. It's something you definitely want. You want the machine to automatically turn off, especially when you have multiple users using the machine to wash down their own vehicles. Another thing that was important to me was that we have an hour meter built in. The hour meter allows you to know exactly how often you need to be able to change your oil, and also it can give you a little better idea of what lifespan you're getting out of your pump, what lifespan you're getting out of your unloader or these pressure switches. It's very nice to have. The idea of this concept is to have a stationary installation that is ready to go at all times. It streamlines the wash process so that at a large company, let's say, every driver, if they're washing their own truck at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, it makes it faster for those guys so that they're more likely to do it, and it saves them time, especially if the company's paying for them to wash their trucks. Now this unit here, this one I'm excited about because it's a hot water model. You put some diesel fuel into this thing and it's got a Wayne burner on it. It'll fire right up and heat up the water. Same unloader, same method for being able to switch it out. General Pump is a good brand. This is a really streamlined solution. One thing I like about these is the casters. It makes for a really nice, easy way to roll the thing around without fighting with the thing. We also have another model without the casters that just has these wheels, 4 of them. And that still turns, but not as easily. The thing is that you might want those 4-wheel designs if you're rolling around in gravel. These would be a little bit more of a pain in gravel. But yeah, real nice setup. Now this little guy here, this thing is gonna be really helpful because it's super easy to set up. All you really need to do is give it some gas and a garden hose and you're rocking and rolling. So this one will be great for owner operators or anyone who maybe doesn't have a wash bay, they're working outside. You know, this would be the solution for that, and it's also the most cost effective. So what we did here is instead of just having the 50-foot hose that would normally come with a unit like this, we went 100 feet. It's a dual wire braid hose, so this is extremely durable and it's gonna reach an entire tractor trailer. We also use our preferred ST2305 trigger with the high pressure Mosmatic swivel coming in. All these power washers are gonna have this layout. So you get the Q quick connects, which are really nice and durable. These fittings eliminate the normal drama you would get at, with a standard quick disconnect, because the way the O-ring seats around this, the O-ring doesn't tend to get chopped up like the normal quick disconnect would. So this is definitely a much more hardcore option. All of these power washers in the X Factor series will come with a stainless steel lance with rolled threads, and that's going to prevent fatiguing at this point here. And that's a big deal, actually. That's where you would get a fail is at the threads right here normally. So rolled threads are much better. Extended lance, it's longer than the usual one that would come with a power washer like this because you're going to need more reach. And then this guy right here, this thing is going to be a lot of fun. So this one kind of reminds me of the style of machine that I grew up working on that I was mentioning earlier. Let me show you that real quick. So I've actually got one. This is what I'm talking about right here. I grew up working on these things. 1989 this was built. My father sold it and the customer actually bought 2 because he was used to power washers failing, often. And the first one he bought never failed. He still has it. So that was from 89 till now. I mean, that's, So this was in a box and it was never opened, but this is what I grew up working on. Let me show you exactly what I don't like. This pump here, when this pump needs to be rebuilt, you have to take this manifold off to get at the seals inside of here. There's no room, actually. This pump head cannot be removed without either fully removing the pump or removing the motor. A lot of extra labor there, and also you can't really get at the bolts underneath this because it's always against something like this. So it's a pain. You got to lift the whole machine up. Usually these were mounted in awkward places. The injectors were similar problems. I mean, everything's just real tight. The issue is that, you're trying to fit everything into this box. Even in here, all the controls in here, this is kind of in the way. The water's real close to it. It's just like little things that would drive me nuts that I didn't like. So here's where I'm getting at. So here's what appealed to me. Look where this pump head is mounted. You don't even have to open the lid on this thing to get at this. And I like that because I can service this thing without making it a big deal. Now what else is cool that I thought was nice is you loosen up these things here, these wing nuts here. Yeah. Check this out. This is one of the coolest things to me. It's got these cables that mount here. The whole shroud flips up and now you can get at your belts. You can do an oil change much easier. You can get at the motor if you need to. This is a really nice design to be able to get at things. Let's say you were working more in this area, now you've got all this access. And even the control box, this is a nice angle to just pop this open and work on your controls. That's a pretty cool feature. I think that this flip up lid thing, it almost reminds me of a big rig a little bit. I like this. Belt driven is nice too because it's a little more forgiving on the pump. You're gonna get a little more pump life than a direct drive. They make a stand for it. And then, we have kits that include the hose reel and the, everything you need. Same thing here. You would get this squeeze trigger with the standalone unit. If you just got it with just the unit, you would get this particular style squeeze trigger with it. With the upgraded foaming kit, you would get our foam lance. So difference being is, this thing turns on and off your foam cannon. and the injector would cut your soaps automatically much more efficiently than the injector that's included with these. Each one of these power washers comes with a downstream injector. This is a very common low-cost soap injector. What you're going to want to do is when you get this in, you take this, and then this is going to go right here. You're going to definitely want to upgrade to one of these. This uses 10 times less soap, and I'll show you a video of that sometime soon. This uses a ratio tip system, and our soaps are designed to be cut much further than a downstreamer normally would. So this is a big shortcut, and the two-stage version for touchless two-step soaps looks like this. This is going to save a ton of money. Even though these are not cheap parts, the amount of soap that you save on these over the course of a year, it's massive. I've had customers go from $5,000 a year in soap cost to about $800 or $900 using an injector like this. So it's a huge cost savings. You definitely don't want to use a downstream injector if you can help it. They're going to drink a lot of soap unnecessarily. So let me know if you guys have any questions about anything here at all. I'm going to be making a lot more content with these power washers so that you can see how they do their thing. Be sure to ask me any questions right here in the comments down below. Check out the links that I've got to these power washers that go right into my website. They're right in the description, and I hope you guys like these things. We'll see you next time.